it's Nina with Walla Stamping. Thanks for joining me today. This is the project that I'm going to be sharing with you. I've got a couple of little slide drawer boxes here. This one I made with Tucker in mind. He is going to be leaving to go away for his freshman year of college on Saturday, and I'm going to miss that boy so badly, but I'm excited to see him taking his next step in life and moving on to adulthood. But his favorite colors is red and black. So I created this one with this Christmas Around the World Designer Series paper, and it made me think of him. Now when you slide this drawer out, I have a little insert in there, and let me show you this one, because what I have done is I have just put in a necklace holder insert, and in there I have the necklace that I got from Stampin Up when I reached the silver level. I love this necklace, and this just slides in and out. Now if you did not want to use this for a necklace, you could just leave this insert out altogether and put some sweet treats or something else in there, or you could make the insert, which I'm going to show you how to do, but instead of trimming it up here, you could just simply adhere a gift card in there if you wanted to. Also, if you were giving this to a man, maybe you would be buying him something like a pocket knife or those little clip things that hold your money. I guess it's called a money clip. You could put something like that in here too. But anyways, really neat box. I love how they turned out. The one that I'm going to be showing you today though is going to be more kid friendly. Now first of all, let me show you the bundle that I'm using to create this with. Let me get the glare off of that. This is the Snowflake's Sentiment stamp set, and it is a clear mount stamp set. I like these because I already have my clear blocks, which I just mount those on. They also come in wood if you would prefer to use that instead of the clear mount. Then I have the swirly snowflake thinlit dies, and these are so gorgeous. This is what I used to create this little belly band here. These are called the Snowflake Sentiment Bundle if you purchase them together, and if you purchase them together you actually save 10% on the cost, but of course you can also buy them separate as well. So let's go ahead and get started with the product that you're going to need to create today's box. Now the outside of the box, I'm going to be using a piece of Whisper White thick cardstock. It's 9.5 by 6. Then for the drawer on the inside, also Whisper White thick, 10 5/8 by 7 11/16. Then for the little insert, 7.5 by 4.5. I have a couple of scrap pieces here that I'm going to use to make the medallion with, and these were just left over from when I was cutting my paper. I would say if you have a piece that's about 2.5 by 3, that's going to be plenty large enough for you to cut out what you want to cut out. Now for the belly band, I'm going to go with well, this should be real red. I'm out of real red, so I'm using cherry cobbler, but I think that it looks close enough to the color in my designer series paper that it'll be fine. But if you have real red, I would use that instead of the cherry cobbler, but this is going to work okay. This piece is 9.5 by 5, and then this is the piece of the designer series paper that I'm using from the Christmas Around the World. It's got these sweet little candies, the little peppermint disc, and I thought that that would be appropriate for a teenager or a younger child. So let's go ahead and get our scoring done. Now I'm going to be using my Stampin' Trimmer, and I'm doing that because some of the measurements that we're going to be scoring are a little odd. Some of them are 1/16 of an inch, and that's why I'm using my trimmer instead of my Simply Scored scoring tool. Now first of all, let's do the outside of the box. I've already scored this once because I cut something wrong when I recorded the video the first time, and I'm having to do it a second time. So here we go. We're going to line our paper up at the 3-inch mark. I'm going to move my cutting blade and my scoring blade out of the way. I'm just going to be using my stylus. I'm going to score that at 3 inches, then move that over to 4 1/4 inch, and then score it again. Let me slide my arm out. Then we're going to go up to 7 1/4 inches, score it again, and then finally 8.5 inches and score. So that's all the scoring for the outside of the box. Now this is where the scoring gets a little bit different, but it's not difficult. What you're going to want to do is line your paper up at the 1 3/16 inch mark. So what that means is you'll go to the 1 inch and then count over 3/16. 1, 2, 3. So that's the little 1/16 of an inch mark between the 1/8 and 1/4. Okay? All right, so I'm going to put that there and score. Then, just to try to keep it as simple as possible, you're going to use that score line that you just made and line that one up with the 1 3/16 inch mark and score it a second time. Then turn your paper 1/4 turn, line it up with 1 3/16 inch, make sure it's straight, and score. Slide it over, make sure that that score line is lined up with the 1 3/16 inch, and score again. So that's all you do all the way around the box. The last thing that we need to score is the little insert that would hold your necklace, and that's what I'm going to show you how to make today. But of course, like I said, you can switch this up and do something totally different if you want to. We're going to score this at 13/16 of an inch. So that is, you go to the 3/4 inch mark, and it's the 1/16 of an inch mark just past 3/4 of an inch. So we're just going to score all the way around each side at the 13/16 inch mark. Now, to prepare this little insert, all we're going to do is just come in here with our scissors, snip up to where those two score lines crisscross each other, just like that. Do that on all 4 corners. Now, I will have over on my blog a printable PDF sheet for you. It'll have all the instructions as well as all of the measurements and a list of supplies. So if you didn't catch everything as I was giving it to you in the beginning, don't worry about it. You'll be able to get it over there. So what I'm going to do now is just come here in the center, or just either side of the center, and I'm going to cut a little section away. The reason that I'm doing this is because this little piece you have here is tied in a knot on the inside, and this is going to make room so that it'll slide down over the top of it. Now, to do a necklace, I'm just going to come in here at an angle and cut up about probably 1/2 of an inch, maybe 5/8 of an inch, and just cut that in at an angle, just like that. That way your necklace chain can slip over that and go to the back, and then your pendant will be hanging in the front. I'm going to go ahead and get these folded over. All right, set that one out of the way. Now, this is the piece for the drawer. Let's go ahead and get these lines folded and burnished too. To prepare this one, as you can see, there's 4 little squares on each corner. What you're going to do is you're going to cut straight up this first score line, stop at the second horizontal, and then we're just going to cut these 2 squares off. Then we're going to come over here and cut up this score line. Then we're going to cut away just this bottom square. Then I'm going to cut a little wedge out of this tab. And we'll do that again over here on this side. So we're going to cut straight up this score line. Stop at the second, turn it, and cut these 2 squares off. So when you get done with all of your trimming, this is the shape you're going to be left with. Now, everything was folded and burnished this way. This is the outside. We're going to flip this over to the inside, fold both of these little, or all 4 of these little tabs down. I'm going to use my fast fuse and apply that on all of these little tabs. Then I'm going to put some on these outside portions here. Now, when we're assembling this, we're going to start off just like you would a regular box by attaching all of the tabs to the inside of the box here. Then we have all these pieces. I'm going to start out by folding in these two long sides. Then I'm going to fold those over, and if it looks like I need to trim a little bit off, which I think that I do, then I'm just going to grab my scissors, and I'm just trimming off probably not even a 1/16 of an inch. I just want to cut enough of this paper off so that I can fold these little pieces in, and there's not going to create any bulk in the corners. Okay. And fold both of those in. I'm doing this because it's making the outside wall really thicker and sturdier. Take my bone folder and go around each one of those, and I'm accomplishing two things. I'm getting that adhesive stuck down really well, and I'm giving all of my edges a nice sharp fold. Let's go ahead and get the outside of our box put together. So I'm just going to start out by folding and burnishing all of those score lines. Putting my adhesive. Oh, before I do that, I'm going to trim this off at an angle. This is my little adhesive tab here. Then run my fast fuse down there. Fold that over. Stick it together. Then the outside of my box is made. Now I'm going to grab my ruler and my pencil, and I'm going to measure 1.5 inches across the top and try to get it as close to center as I can. Then I've got my 1/8 of an inch hole punch. I'm going to come in here and line that up, punch. So I have this little crochet hook that I use to do this with. If you don't have a crochet hook, then you'll probably have to do this a little bit differently, but you would just want to get your ribbon stuck down through the hole. But I like doing it this way because it's so much easier. I go ahead and tie a little knot, leaving a loop like this. Get it tight. Then I just snip off the extra. I take my crochet hook, slide it from the outside of the box to the inside of the box, put that little loop around it, and then pull it through my box, and I am done with that. It makes it so easy. Then I'm going to slide my insert in there, and the little cutout is right there to slide over where that knot is, so that fits perfectly. Then let's make sure that it fits inside the box sleeve. Everything fits together great. Now we're going to work on the belly band. So I'm going to move some things out of my way. Going to grab my Big Shot in just a minute, but first of all, I'm going to take this thinlet right here. I'm going to get my ruler and pencil again. So this is 9.5 inches. Half of 9.5 is 4 3/4. So I'm going to make a little mark right there at the 4 3/4 inch mark. Then I'm going to take my framelit, and I'm going to line this center right up with that dot that I just made. Now I've got some post-it note tape somewhere. Here it is. I like to tape this down just to make sure that it's going to stay in place. But you know what? I almost forgot to do something. I am going to actually use my adhesive paper here because I tried using glue the first time that I did this, and I got kind of messy with it. So I'm going to use this adhesive strip this time. So let me flip this over and make my mark again. So that was 4 3/4. There we go. Line that center point up of this thinlet with that dot that I just made, and then I'm going to tape this down so that I know it's going to stay in place as I run it through my Big Shot. So I have my magnetic plate platform, and then I've got my cutting plate. I'm going to put my paper on there, my second cutting plate, and I'm going to run this through 2 to 3 times because it is very detailed. So I've got that run through my Big Shot. I'm going to grab my ruler one more time, and I'm going to line that up even with the bottom of where this thinlet cut, and I'm going to make a mark, and then I'm just going to use my scissors and cut straight across those lines just to get rid of, and I got something stuck to them, to get rid of the portion that I'm not going to need. So cut right up to there, turn it around and do the same thing on this side. And then that will allow me to pull away this top part that I don't need. So there we go. Then I have my adhesive paper on the back, so when I get ready to stick that to my box, which is going to be right here in just a second, I can just pull that off and stick it down a lot easier. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to line this up, and what I'm paying attention to is right here and right here and here and here. I'm trying to eyeball it so that I have those even on both sides. Then I'm just going to give this a pinch right here, take it away, fold it over, give that a good press. I'll worry about this once I get it on the box. Lay it back on the box again, pinch around that side, take it off, fold it, press it. I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. So now I've got that done, I'm just going to go ahead and run a little strip of fast fuse right here on the inside of the back on one side. Then I'm going to peel off the backing of my adhesive strip. Make sure I've got the front of the box here. I'm going to lay that down, lining up the score lines and lining up the center. Go ahead and gently put that in place before I curl the sides over. Turn the side over, get this snowflake attached. Fold this side over, get this snowflake attached. Come around the back and adhere that into place. Now once I've got all of that done, I can put a little more pressure on here to get everything stuck down better. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to slide that out so that I can actually get my fingers on the inside and put more pressure on it. Make sure it stays stuck. Okay. Now I'm ready to do the second belly band, which is my designer series paper. So I'm going to line this up in the back where this first belly band came together. Wrap this around my box. Take it off and give those two lines that I just created a nice burnish. Put it back on the box again. Wrap it around to the other side. Pinch, pinch. Burnish, burnish. Place some adhesive. Let's see. Okay, so the belly band is in place. All right, now let's go ahead and work on our medallion. I'm going to be using my layering ovals framelits to cut this out. Let's see, since I'm giving this to a younger person, I think I'm just going to put Season's Greetings on this one. I have a block D here. Okay, then I believe I will stamp this in cherry cobbler. I've got my cherry cobbler ink. This is the first time that I've used this stamp, so before I stamp it on my paper, I'm going to stamp it once there and make sure it's looking good. Then I'm just going to stamp it approximately in the center of my cardstock. Then I'll determine which of my ovals I need, and I think that one may be a little bit too small, so let's move up one. Let's just work here and see. That one's going to be fine right there. Let me figure out what size I have here, and I will tell you which one I used. Okay, so that would be the 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th from the smallest, or actually the 3rd from the largest. That may be the easier way to remember that. That's the 3rd from the largest plain scallop. So then I will use the 3rd from the largest, or not scallop, plain circle. I will use the 3rd from the largest scallop to do my red. All right, let me grab my Big Shot again. Get that lined up around there as straight as I can. Then we'll run it through. To attach these to each other, I'm just going to use a strip of my Fast Fuse. Attach this right here. Then to attach it to my box, I'm actually going to use some dimensionals. Just going to put 3 across the back. So here are the 3 boxes that I created for you today, and they're all different, but I like how they all turned out. And if you enjoyed this tutorial, please give this video a thumbs up. I appreciate you watching so very much. I will have links to all of the featured supplies in the description box below the video, but be sure to head over to my blog because I do have a list of supplies over there, and I prepared the printable instruction sheet for you. It's going to give you all of the dimensions as well as directions for the project. So you're going to have more information over there to check out on my blog, and I'll also have more pictures. So I do hope that you enjoyed the tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss any of my paper crafting tutorial videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.